Garden Doctor. The Garden Doctor.
Hello, lovely wife.
Well, hi
Hello,
there.
Connorsville. How
Hello.
are you down there? Up there. We're down here. You're up there. I forgot. Listen, I want to start right off the show by apologizing. I
what?
felt very, very unwell this week and,
yes.
and a lot of last week trying new medications. And I tell you, I've said this before, and I'm the garden doctor. I'm not a doctor, and I don't give medical advice. But in my opinion, and from my experience, medicine is as much poison as it is cure. And you have to be very, very careful, and you have to watch you have to be your own advocate when it comes to medications and
Well, that's
and
very
doctors and all
true.
that stuff.
You do.
I tell my wife, don't tell me what the side effects are. I don't want to know because I don't want to predispose myself. So after about 4 or 5 days, if I start complaining about a lot of stuff, she knows what the side effects are, and she will look it up.
Yeah, by the way,
And
that's
say,
one of them.
okay, wait a minute, we need to readdress this. Well, these side effects were very, very serious.
He in
and
particular, you are very sensitive to all medications.
extremely sensitive. Some people can take anything.
Yeah.
Don't bother them. You know, I had a customer of mine one time, and he says, "Oh, every once in a while when I'm feeling like it, I just take double if I'm not feeling very good."
So
well, you
what?
can't do that.
You put yourself in a coma
You know, and
taking
if
double.
if I don't, and my brother-in-law says, "Well, if I feel good, I don't take any of that stuff."
No, not
No,
me.
that's not how it works with blood pressure and blood sugar medicines. You can't
And
do
me
that.
and mine is stable. I've probably taken the same medications for years, the same dose, as long as I take them every day, like clockwork. My numbers are always good.
Yeah,
but it took a while to get to that point. I was up and down, that blood pressure especially.
There
so.
are interactions with medications. You really have to be very, very careful. And if you have somebody in your family who is elderly or even is not, you need to check their medications. You need to check the interaction, because we have found 3 or 4 times, 5 or 6 times
Yes.
actually, that the medicines that I was prescribed, I could not take with the medicines I was already taking.
That's
and
right.
it could have been bad.
And it matters also what time of day you take certain medications.
Oh my goodness! I've been taking the medicine wrong for about a
That's
year.
right. If it's
almost 2 years.
before or after food.
I'm supposed to take it before breakfast, the same meal every day, a half an hour before, but not just like, oh, when you get up.
Well,
no,
and they
none of
tell you that
half
take
an hour before
before food, but they don't really stress how important it is. For instance, anybody on Synthroid, thyroid medication.
Not a specific medicine. We don't want to talk about
Okay.
specific medicines.
Well, if you're on stuff for your thyroid, I don't remember the name of it, but you're supposed to take it on an empty stomach with a full glass of water, half an hour before you eat anything, or it doesn't work to its full benefit. So
Exactly, and I found out that if I don't take one of my medicines exactly 8 hours apart, remember, one of them I have to take early in the morning, and then
that's
I have
right.
to take it 8 hours later exactly, or it doesn't work as well. So read the label very carefully and help whoever it is that is, because if they're one of those people that I can take this medicine, doctor said it was okay. No, read what it says, look at the interaction, make sure that there's no, because even though the doctors try very hard not to give you
course.
medicines that are going to knock you out, you
It
still have to
happens.
be your own advocate.
Right.
Check for yourself. Okay, but anyway, so I was very sick, and I did not get down to redo the video that the cameraman messed up down there at the farmer's market.
Oh, that's
thing.
right. We're to do the farmer's market.
it
We
was
really
just-
wanted to promote that this week.
And we
because
are promoting that, and we shall
that's
continue
right.
to promote
This
that.
is opening weekend for
and
the
I'm
farmer's
hoping
market.
I will feel well enough, and even if I don't feel well enough, I'm going to come down. I'm going to help you. I'll be there. I very rarely miss a deadline.
Wanted to come down with some of my own plants that I have ready, my seedlings. I have some
Not very
squash
much ready.
plants.
You've got a few.
I've got some squash plants
we'll
and a
go
few
down and we'll
things.
see what it's like.
But
We'll
I've
go down and
got
see
the
what's
2
going on first.
granddaughters coming that we haven't seen in quite a while, so
We've
I
got-
don't know
yeah.
if we'll be getting up early or staying up late
Tell
or
me
what.
about this farmer's market.
Okay, it's this Saturday, opening weekend, right? And it starts early in the morning. They want you set up between 7:30 7:30, 7:45 for opening at 8 o'clock, and it's right on through till noon, and then that's it. They want you to stay the full time. There is a whole sheet of rules that they want you to go through and sign.
And it's a good idea if you're going to set up, if you're going to go, let's wait and go next weekend and get your paperwork filled out, see what's going on, make sure that
Now, if you're going to be down there tomorrow, will you have those papers to hand out to any interested
I'm sure
parties?
we will, and whatever she tells me to do, you know? We'll
there's an application. It's very simple though, and it's just basic rules. No yelling at people and foul language and stuff like that. So
if you grow it or if you make it, then they want it.
Right.
And if you're in this county or any county that adjoins this county, and if you can't figure that out, we'll get you out a map and we'll tell you, and just bring it on down. But, call first, set up an appointment, or just get the paperwork, fill the paperwork out. It's very self-explanatory, but you need to get the paperwork done first. So come on down this weekend, the 5th, see what it's all about, visit with the people, get your paperwork, make sure that you feel comfortable, and we'd love to have you down there. And I'm going to be going out and knocking on some doors. I got some friends of mine over in Rushville that I think this would benefit them quite a bit. The thing about this farmers market, if you participate in it, it may come to pass that you are so busy you can't continue to participate in it, because other people have found that to be the case. They get down there and they're down there for half
generate
a year.
so much sales and they're
they
out.
have so much traffic that's it. They're too busy to do their own thing. So
well, gee, we should all have that problem, right?
It's if you've got a good quality product.
Well, good.
It's going to happen.
Now, any idea what the weather is supposed to do Saturday morning?
I did not check it. I am the
He's
weather
usually
man.
the weather guy.
I am the weather guy. They call me to find
That's
out
right.
what to say.
The fishing report,
I
no
am
matter
telling
what.
you
You want to know
I
the
get
weather.
aggravated with the weather. Yesterday, for example, the weather people kept saying, "Oh, it's going to be sunny. The storms are going to go right by us." I'm looking at this stream of storms headed bullseye for Connorsville.
Right, it
and they
did
weren't
too.
even talking about
I know. They rarely talk about us if there's just one little thing over there on the east.
I got on the phone and called Bill and said, "Hey, just look at the thing."
We got hit with quite a bit of thunderstorms.
We got hammered.
Yes.
Yeah, we got pounded.
It
Okay,
was
we're
pretty
going to
good.
try to cover some things today. Okay. Oh, by the way, this is live.
Right. Live tonight.
So you can call
in.
We will try to answer your questions. Can I stop the rain? No.
Nope.
Can I start it back up again? No. But you can ask me, and I will make every effort.
He'll try.
We've got a few questions that have come in. I tell you, my wife's problem is one that we're going to try to address at this show. The people that are back in the office back here, we're going to try to address their wife's problems.
I don't know if you could fix those kind of problems on this show.
If you have a wife that has a problem, don't tell her. Just call in and ask me the questions.
That's right. I believe you have a caller. Well,
all right. So
I'm trying to get that
my
hooked
wife's problem, her pet peeve, her stick in the mud is ants. She hates the ants, and
it's been the longest winter in the world ever, and I was so happy for spring to be here, and then the ants appeared, and I had forgotten. It's been so long, I forgot about those little ants that come in, millions of them, and you can't, I don't know, we've treated everything with granules. We had plumbing issues, so we kind of have open space around the pipes coming through the floor. We thought maybe that was it. I don't know, but
we have treated and we have treated. We have treated under the trailer. We have treated inside the trailer. We have treated around the trailer. And we try to be judicious because the well is right out there.
Exactly.
So I try to go organic and I try to do this.
I just want to move out and give them the house. I'll move somewhere else that doesn't have ants. I don't know what to do.
But I have some very, very interesting things that I'm going to get to cover here that she doesn't know anything about. She has never heard anything about
now,
this.
borax. We used to use borax.
Well, yeah, but
20 Mule Team.
That's one of the minor
sprinkle
things.
it around under the cabinets.
Before we get to that, though, we're going to address...
What are we addressing?
Justin's problem.
Okay. His wife, Shay...
Yes.
Has a small start of a tree from a,
Oh, that's his problem? I thought he... No. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
A little tree, a little bare root
right.
tree
Yes.
about this long with root. And she wants
We're
to know.
going to interrupt and we're going to go to the caller and then we'll get back to
We'll
this.
get right back to that.
You're on the air with Mr. and Mrs. Garden Doctor. How can we help you?
Well, I'm looking to replace my shrubs around the front porch.
Okay.
And I have a 2-story, it's a 100-year-old house, and the porch is on the side of the house. And right now I have yews out there and some kind of a sticker red bush.
Yeah, a barberry.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it's getting so big that I want to take them and I want something
now,
around it.
you do not have to remove those yews. Because in the removal process of a yew, you normally think of pulling it out by the roots.
Right.
Okay, that's not really necessary because I'm in a 100-year-old house. You're going to have sloping towards the house that'll have to be corrected. They'll have to be banked up against your house. In order to get the drainage away from the house, this is the perfect time to solve moisture problems. It also decreases the amount of spiders and insects into the house by sloping up to the house. It helps your heating bill, your air conditioning bill, everything. So what you do is you dig down around the plants a little bit and you cut them off just under the ground and you mark where they are. And then you landscape around them so that you don't plant right on top of the root, of course, because these are substantial. Another thing, if those are 100-year-old yews.
Well, they're not.
Okay.
They're not
Okay.
because they were replaced.
Okay, then Harry Brandley probably put them in.
Probably.
Yeah, because if he loved the barberries and he loved to plant the yews. So, and he was a dear, sweet man. He was a fabulous individual. So if they're not quite 100 years old, then that kind of puts the trunk. If it's this big around or larger, then you may have something that's quite valuable to the people that make pipes and that make
the wood turning.
the wood turning people. They love the trunks of the yews when they're quite large. Okay, so let's assume that they're not that big. We cut them off at the ground level. You bring in soil because you need to freshen the soil anyway. Bank up to the appropriate level. And then the important thing is to plant the right plants for the right side of your house. Now, here's what I would like to suggest to you is if you could take some photographs, or if you could, when we get off the air here, because I don't like to give people's address out, if you could leave the address, I'd be more than happy to come by. Now, I'm retired, so I'm not doing landscape, but what I can do is I can sketch the plantings that you should have to consider, and then you can go look at them.
Now, these yews are on which side of the house? Would it be
that's
the north
important.
or?
You have to take into consideration, are there big trees in the yard? How much sun? How much shade? How much? What the soil conditions are? What the pH of the soil is? There's a lot of things to take into consideration, and also maintenance.
And personal preference. Do you want
Right.
something lower, higher?
In about 20 years ago, people had gotten completely away from. Oh, I gotta put this back. Stop that. About 20 years ago, people wanted to have nothing but gravel. That's all they wanted was gravel.
Yeah, gravel landscape.
everywhere. Because they didn't want to pull any weeds and they didn't want to do
Right.
this. And then if you went back 30 years ago, everybody wanted perennials. Perennials were everywhere. We had high maintenance beds. Then they came a full circle. And about 10 years ago, people started going back to, we want more color and more function in our landscape, but we want it to change over the season, and we don't want the sterile look of the gravel. And so they went to more bark mulching and things like that. But you can have a relatively low maintenance landscape if you put the right plant in the right location and it's installed correctly.
That's what I like. I don't want to fuss with something all the time.
Yeah.
Now, if you're someone who likes that, that's
No,
great. So,
that's
but
what I'm kinda,
if you will
looking
leave your number after we get you off the
Yep.
air here and leave your address, is that what you want? Address
Yeah, because
and phone number?
address and phone number, and I will be
swing
more
by
than
if you
happy to
wish.
call you and stop by because I'm retired now. But unfortunately, they have me running doctor's appointments like, what, every 2 days. They think
That's
that
okay.
I'm completely falling apart.
As long as they keep them in one piece, that's
yeah,
all
I
that
guess
matters.
so. But,
Yeah.
but I'd be more than happy to come out. And like I said, I'm not doing, I'm retired, but I will do
Free advice.
I will sketch it up and say, this is what I would suggest.
Okay.
And then you can go look at Lowe's is a fabulous place to look, and I'll explain to you the difference between some of the wholesalers.
All right.
Okay. Well,
Thank you very much for your call. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All
Did you
right.
say we had another call?
Yeah.
All right. All right. We're going to come back to that other call
And
now.
she's going to leave her information, and you can go by and give her some ideas. That'll
There you
be
go.
great.
All right. Now we were talking about this bare root tree. Now,
Yes.
it was Arbor Day.
Anytime we are. Yes, we are.
Anytime you want it in,
Yes.
we can take
We
it.
have another caller. Okay.
You're on the air with Mr. and Mrs. Garden Doctor, and we're very happy to have you on the air with us. How can we help you?
How do we get rid of moles?
Well, I tried to cover that in another program, but let me tell you a couple of things that we
Well,
found
I
out.
can loan you my dog.
Yeah.
She's gotten pretty good at killing them.
A couple of things that we found out is that castor oil is extremely effective, and I spent 2.5 hours on the phone with 2 universities, and their testing has coming back very strong about the castor oil. Now, it does not work with the deep moles. There's a difference between the moles and the voles. The ones that go deep, that put the big mounds of dirt in your yard, that stick the
Right.
big mounds of dirt up, it doesn't work as well with those. You have to use a different process. What you do with those moles is you just clear back a spot and you pour the castor oil directly down in that hole. And you go to the next one, the next one, the next one. And on the other ones, the ones that just have a tunnel that they push up in your yard, you
Right.
spray the castor oil on the lawn, on the entire lawn. And the moles do not like the bitterness, the taste, the flavor, the smell. They don't like anything about the castor oil, and they're
Wow.
gone.
So Grandma was right. Castor oil is good for everything,
Castor
right?
oil is good for everything. You can buy castor oil in a concentrate, gallon concentrate. All of the instructions and everything are available. You can get it through Lowe's. You can get it through Myers, Menards. All of those places have the concentrate. But
Is it the moles we're killing, or is it the grub worms?
we're not killing either one. We're making everything that's in the yard taste bitter. And the moles just don't want to eat it, so they leave. We're not.
I've been told it's the grub worms that they're after.
Well, it is.
They are.
It is the grub worms that they're after, and I have found that those poison strips, the
Looks
gummy
like,
worms.
Yeah, look like gummy worms.
If you've seen those at the different places that have them for sale, you have to be extremely, and I'm talking about extremely careful with those. If you have any children or dogs,
They look like candy. They look like gummy worms.
They are dangerous,
And if your
there's
dog
been
gets
a
it,
whole
or-
bunch of people get sick on these things.
But if you have no kids and no dogs, then those
Okay.
are great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what you do with these things is you poke a hole with your finger. You want to wear plastic gloves. You push down in one, you go a little ways further, and it gives you all the directions on there. They're a little expensive, but
Where could I get the abundance of castor oil?
you can get it in the gallon container, in a gallon concentrate,
Right.
at Lowe's, Menards, Myers, all of those
Do
places.
they have that at Gilman's, you
I
think?
think they.
Or Wells
I think they
around
can
here?
order it even locally, and I think they can even order it through Walmart.
Okay.
It's available almost everywhere now. Yeah,
Well, sir, I
but
thank you very much, because my backyard is full of them.
Mine
yeah,
too.
ours too. We're testing.
Yeah,
ours is a test
all
ground.
these different things to see what works,
Yeah.
and so far my dog has been pretty effective.
Thank you for your call. We appreciate it very, very much.
I'm going to try it, and if I find out it works, I'll call you back.
You
Let
call
us
me
know.
back, and if it don't work, call me back anyway.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Now, back to this problem here, which we will not get to by the end of the day. That's how it works. If I don't know the answer, I just keep pushing it off. See? No, we had Arbor Day, and Arbor Day comes and goes, and you participate in Arbor Day.
Sure, yeah, I get the
and
mailings from them, and I get the little spruce trees,
Yep.
which I think this time I actually have 3 that made it through the winter,
because
right?
we did
I
something
potted
different.
them,
Yes.
right. Instead of putting it in the ground somewhere and trying to mark it and make it grow and keep it weeded and everything else, this time I planted it in a big pot. Whoa,
Okay, here's what you got to do. When you get these things in, they cannot wait indefinitely. They can wait for a while if you keep the water fresh.
So you put
and
it in
you
a
put
cup.
a little bit of fertilizer in there.
Okay,
You
in
put them
water.
in a
bowl,
bucket of water.
whatever, okay.
But you don't want the water to get rancid. So every 2 or 3 days you dump the water out. You put fresh water in, and a little bit of fertilizer, not much, just
Mm-hmm.
a little Miracle Grow or something in there, which just feeds the plant. Okay, and it doesn't matter if the tree leaves out, dogwood, spruce, I don't care what it is. Keeping it moist is the trick right now, but not getting it so that it's going to rot by having the water go bad on you. Okay, so you change the water. Now it's dried out enough where you can get out in the yard and do something. So you want to clear a spot and clearly mark it. Clearly mark it, because this thing can get mowed over very, very easily. It can get weed eaten
very
very easily. It can
Very.
get forgotten. where it
Very
is.
easily.
So you want to mark it. So put a pot upside down, put a big rock on it, paint it fluorescent pink, put another pot over here. Protect it in some way. The best way to do it is to get a plastic container, cut the bottom out of it, and when you plant the plant, put that down over the top of it and literally have it painted a fluorescent color.
And you've made a
now
ring.
This
Yeah.
thing is protected and it's identified where it is. You can water right through the top of it. When you plant it, always dig the soil out bigger than the root ball of the tree. And I'm talking about root ball by whatever it sticks out. If the roots stick out this far, dig out this much. Mix, take that soil, put it out of there, mix it with sphagnum peat moss, about 60-40. I'm not going to hold you to the 40%, okay? It can be
Right.
50-50.
Okay.
It can be
You just
30.
don't want the straight up peat moss to burn
You
up the root.
never,
Right.
ever want straight peat. You don't want clumps of straight peat. And it has to be sphagnum. Don't get that black stuff. It's poison. Stay away from that black peat moss. That's not even peat moss. And it's not potting soil either. So you take the sphagnum peat moss. We know that's real peat. You put it in the soil and you mix it, mix it, mix it. Keep mixing it up until it blends right in with the soil. Now you put it back halfway into the ground, around this tree, and pack it down. And then you fill it up with water. Now you're allowing that peat moss and that soil and the surrounding area to completely fill up with water. And I like to have a little fertilizer in there. Not much, but a little bit. So let's say that it calls for 2 tablespoons per gallon. Put 1 tablespoon per gallon in there. Pour that around there. Now backfill 3/4 of the way. Don't fill it all the way to the top. Leave it down 1/4. And I want you to fill that with water 3 times. Okay, you're going to let that percolate and slowly saturate that entire area. I know it's rained, but that doesn't matter. You're taking care of this tree.
Well,
which
and you'll
is different.
discover, even after all this rain, when you go to dig a hole for this little tree, you're going to get down about this deep, and underneath that is dry. And that
In
just,
some cases
yeah.
it'll be dry, and in other cases it'll be wet.
And that
but-
just goes to show you how, you can get a lot of rain. It takes quite a bit to water deep. It
if
really
the rain
does.
hits hard and fast, it'll run right off before anything soaks
It has
in.
to rain like 24 hours pretty steady to go down a few
It
inches.
does, and it has to rain slowly and in order to get full saturation. Okay, now, I know I'm giving you a big thing for a little tiny
Right.
tree, but this is the same process you're going to use for any bare root plant, and actually for any plant that you're going to buy at the nursery or anything else. Okay, so now after you've filled that up 3 times with water, you make a ring around that plant with the excess dirt so that you've made a moat to hold water. So that the next time you water, it's got this little moat right around it that holds the water, and this soil will eventually be graded off. But for the first year, you need that moat. Now this will collect water naturally. If you don't remember to water something, a rain that comes along, it'll hold the water. It doesn't let it run off.
That's one of the best things you taught me to do, even in my garden when I put in a squash
Tomato
plant, a tomato plant,
Squash
what
plant,
have you.
yep.
You know, I kind of make a mound where I, planted my plant, and then dig a ring all the way around it, and kind of just form a little bowl with a ring around it to collect any water that I'm giving it or that falls from the sky, to concentrate it and hold it into that one area, and it really helps. It does.
Now, after that is sunk in and you've allowed that soil to dry out a little bit, compact it, pack it down. You wanna get any possibility of an air pocket out
right,
of there.
okay, air
An air
pockets.
pocket will kill that plant.
Yes.
A clump of peat moss will create an air pocket. That's why we don't allow clumps of peat moss. But the peat moss upgrades the soil to the point where it's so much more valuable to the plant that sphagnum peat moss cannot be over exaggerated.
I mix it in with my potting soil.
We mix it in everything.
If I dig a hole to put something in it, it gets peat moss mixed in. If I
Everything.
use potting soil to pot things up, it gets peat moss in it.
We used to get it in at Neil's by the truckload, semi-truckload, and it was just open. And people would come with their 5-gallon buckets, and they'd come with their wash tubs, and they'd fill it up and put it in their trunks and drive home. And they would come back and fill it up again, and this would go on for days. And then we also had worm castings. And so we had a big pile of worm castings, we had a big pile of peat moss, and boy, you mix that together, you had a potting soil.
Some fertile soil, I bet.
Okay, the last thing is the pruning of this tree. If you get in a bare root tree, and let's say it's 6 foot tall, okay, I have to tell you, you got to take out about 10% of it at least. I like to take out about 20% of it. Cut it at an angle, don't cut square across. Cut at an angle and cut where there's a branch coming out or a leaf coming out or where it looks like there's a hump.
Now you're talking about a 6 foot tall.
I'm talking about if that thing is this tall.
Sometimes they're this big, with roots.
I don't care if it's a little tiny pencil.
Cut this much off?
If it's just cut 10% off of it, okay?
Like that much.
If it's a foot long, how much you going to cut off?
An inch, 1.2
Something like that.
to be exact.
There you go. See, mathematician. You just cut off about 10%. Now, you may have to go 20%, which is what I prefer, because it may die back to that.
Now, do you want to do
That's
that
the normal
immediately or let it get rooted first?
I do that right away because I want all the energy to go to the roots and not all the energy to be wasted in that top.
Now, should you water this newly planted sprig of a tree, water it daily to keep it moist like you would a seed until it gets rooted, or no?
No, I see the benefit, but you have saturated that ground. That ground is wet and it will receive water. If the ground is dry, it won't receive it.
Okay.
So you're wet from the bottom all the way up to the top. Now what I want you to do is once every 2 to 3 days, depending on the ambient temperatures and whatnot, you fill that ring up and you fill it up again, with a sprinkling can. You don't want a hard flush of water because you're going to wash out your little ridge there. You fill it up twice, and that should be more than adequate for that bare root tree. 2 fillings of it, which is it's usually about a gallon of water.
I was very excited to go out and look at our potted things that we had left out all winter to see that 3 of these spruce trees I have.
3 out of what, 8?
Probably out of 8.
Yeah.
Now, mister, I feel so bad about the mimosa.
Yeah, we got to go over here and beg these people for another mimosa.
It's nowhere to be found. It's not there.
And that's a good point. That's a good example.
He keeps trying to give me one, and I'm trying, and I've just...
We've planted it 3 or 4 different locations.
I've
the
potted
kids weed eat it or rip it out of the ground for a weed, throw it away. They weeded
my pots and pulled it out of a pot. So... I really got all mixed up with that. But
okay, now we have a submission, if it's possible, to see
a viewer photograph.
A viewer photograph whenever we can get that up. But you got the Fayette County
before we get to the submission,
going on there.
We have, May 16th through the 19th. We have
this year?
it's this year.
Still coming
isn't
up?
it? Yeah, it's this year. 1819 to 2019. That's 200
All right.
years. That's
Wow.
a bicentennial.
Holy.
There we go. Which way am I?
There we go.
There. May 16th to the 19th.
I can get her
and
to
this is
question
the official
what her name
program.
is.
I would imagine isn't there an office downtown? It's a bicentennial
Of course there is. There's
something
an
or
office
other.
somewhere.
It's in what'd you say? Oh, it's in the
It's
park.
up at the park.
Okay, there is a bicentennial office and organizers, of course, but yeah, get involved in that. This is your town. It's 200 years. It's going to be quite a party, I'm sure.
There you go.
And I believe that's
I
the same.
remember. No.
Is this the same weekend as we're having the Armed Forces Parade as well? So
Yes,
there will
it
be
is.
quite a. It's part of the bicentennial thing.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, and here's
All of this
the
flows
events.
together. Where have you been? You
There's a
live here?
whole events thing going on. It talks about, hour by hour what they're going to be doing. And so, yeah, it'll be really cool.
There you go.
A lot of fun. So we'll be
Yeah.
part of that as well.
And don't forget about the farmers market, which is this weekend. Okay, do we have this photograph?
Let's look. Yeah.
Okay. Now on the left, somebody is trying to whittle a tree into a sculpture. Isn't that
Wow. I'm
That
impressed.
is amazing. You see how the other tree there, they whittled it into little bird feeders and those little curlicue things?
Nice. Yeah, I
Wow.
like that.
That's
Okay.
incredible. Okay. What we have here is a beautiful, gorgeous yard. Look at that gorgeous green
is.
going on forever up there. Up to the right is the appearance of a lake.
And
I
then you
think,
have
or
that
water or
invasive
something.
gas
Yeah.
tank.
Then you got this fuel tank in there.
Now I'm painting mine, I'm decorating mine, but not everybody can do that where they are to
Right,
do
because
something
if
with
you
that.
don't own it, you can't do
Now,
that.
first
with it.
thing I noticed is look how they've outlined the bed with the pieces of wood, the short logs. I like that. I kind of like that as a border for
That's
the
a
bed.
good idea. However, you do have to be aware of a couple of things, and that is that when the wood comes in contact with the soil, of course, you advance your deterioration.
It will
of the
rot
wood.
over the
Yeah.
next,
And also, you get an attraction for the ticks and some of the other insects. So it's a
Okay.
good idea to just put some diatomaceous earth down there, right around that
Okay.
area. That takes care of that problem. But okay, so we're trying to hide this thing. Can't paint it. You can't do it without it. So you have to have it. So there's a couple of ways you can hide one of those. You can put up fences. They do allow that. They do allow fencing around it, and you can be very creative with different types of fencing. But if you're going to do plants, the idea about the plants, because I'm pretty sure this is in fairly good close proximity to the house. The thing about plants is you almost need a year-round something. Whether it be the plant can be deciduous, but there needs to be something year-round there that gives
Well, I've
you.
seen grasses, and
Yeah.
they seem to do they're wispy and tall, and they really break up that big white, suppository-looking gas tank thing there. And
Suppository looking. That's just a
look
lovely.
at it. It's
That's right.
It's hideous.
Looks. Yeah, I wouldn't want that hump on it, but okay. Yeah. Maybe that'll
But the
keep it where it
grasses,
goes. I
the
don't know.
clumps of grasses, they have the plumes on them certain times
yeah.
a year.
And
They're
they can
wispy
be in the
all-
background.
Right.
They can come up from the backside.
They're wispy
They don't
all
have to
year
be on this
long.
side. Okay, so
I like
let's
that.
say that we put some grasses out there. You need to be aware of the fact that these grasses get so tall, you don't want them right up against the tank. So
Right.
And there are dwarf, medium, large. And then if you're going to put some annuals in there, you want tall to the back, medium to in front of that, and then shorter in front of that. There is I noticed there was some marigolds there. There is a marigold called a firecracker.
Yes, we've had that one before.
Oh,
Beautiful
I love that thing. It gets up like about
It's tall.
it's almost 3.5, 4
Mm-hmm.
foot tall. Then there's another plant called a teddy bear
The sunflower?
sunflower, and those are short. They're about 3 foot
I have
sunflowers.
seed packets of those. You can grow them
Nice
yourselves.
ones. You tried to grow it. You grew it.
I've grown 'em,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay. They come 2 or 3 different colors. So it's something about 3 foot, 4 foot, a couple of grasses on the sides there, and it just so happens that I have some plants that I'd like to move out from a certain area.
Okay.
If we could find out who that person was,
I think
might
we
just
can.
provide it to them,
We
you know?
have a viewer submission. It had to come from somewhere.
Yeah, but we'll have to track them down.
I don't
you
know.
A lot of people submit stuff
I
to
don't
us
know.
anonymous.
If she would call in and claim that gas tank
it's
and
not
that
gonna happen.
picture,
It's
then
not
we
gonna
would
happen.
know for sure where you could send some plants over. So I don't know.
We're going to
We'll
get
see.
on to the ant control
All right.
for my wife now that we've taken care of the rest of the wives. But listen, still a live show. If you want to call in, be more than
Here we
than
are,
more.
right here, right now.
I found out a lot of things in my research that I had no idea. Oh, you know what we have not done? And let me tell you, I got, 8 calls. I usually don't get more than 1 call, okay? To be honest with you. I get 1 call about the show. And it'll be, oh, yeah, I like that, and oh, what was that? And sometimes it's the same person. Well, this time I got 8. Okay, 8 calls about the jokes. And you know what they wanted to? They love the jokes. And they like the 1 minute firing going, you know?
All right, I'll fire at you.
Fire at me.
Fire
give
away,
me some.
okay?
Give me some jokes.
What gets a year older whenever it rings?
Whenever it rings.
Yeah.
A tree.
A tree.
Of course it does.
Why did the sugar maple make an appointment with the dentist?
I don't know.
It needed a root canal.
Oh, Dad, you will love that joke.
This is one of my favorites. Have you seen the documentary about beavers cutting down trees?
No.
It's one of the best damn videos ever.
Oh my God.
I like that, right? Why do trees love watching Star Trek?
I don't know.
They can relate to the captain's log. Which former president is the favorite of most trees?
President, favorite? I don't know.
Woodrow Wilson.
Woodrow Wilson. Of course.
Okay, is that my rapid fire?
No, you got 2
want
more.
keep more? Okay. When do monkeys fall from the sky?
I have no idea.
During April showers. I told you some of these are really bad. What season is it when you're on a trampoline?
I don't know.
It's springtime.
Oh, springtime. Yeah, I should have got that one. That
That's
one
right.
I should have got.
Why is the letter A like a flower?
I don't know.
A bee comes after it.
I need to know these answers beforehand so I don't always say I don't know.
Well, you
Give
don't
me one
know.
more.
Okay.
Give me one more.
What do you call a girl with a frog on her head?
Don't know.
Lily.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Okay.
Back to the ant control.
Sorry, I apologize.
No.
for that.
They
all
loved
of that.
it. They loved it. I get these calls, and they also love the gopher story the week before. They really like
One
that.
thing I do like is this quote I found. Now, I like this poem by Robert Frost, but I can't find the beginning of it. But this is a quote from a gardener, and it says, "Death has come for me many times, but finds me always in my lovely garden and leaves me there, I think, as an excuse to return."
Ah, who wrote that?
American gardener Robert Brault.
Okay.
Whoever that is, I don't know.
Somebody tell me who that is. Ant control. We
right.
have a big problem with it.
And
they
we're not
tell me.
talking about your Aunt Nancy. So, okay. You okay? We have a caller.
We're ready. We're ready.
ready.
You're on the air with Mr. and Mrs. Garden Doctor. Who are you?
Hi, my name is Lisa. How are you guys doing tonight?
Hi, Lisa. How
You
are
think so? I kind of recognize that yard. You've done quite a lovely job
Yeah,
there.
doing
How
a good
are
job
you, by
there
the way?
with that tank.
How are you?
I'm sorry, say. I'm loving my little garden that I've made. I'm trying to attract hummingbirds.
Hummingbirds. Did you look at a list for what attracts hummingbirds?
Yeah, but I sort of just did my own thing, but I'm hoping to get some.
I love that. I love that. Now, I see you have a hummingbird feeder out there, which is a good idea. Make sure you keep that hummingbird feeder fresh, because if the
Right.
hummingbirds don't come right away, you got to freshen it. And it's not always a good idea to have anything around the hummingbird feeder because they don't like any other birds being busy. Like a wrens or anything in the
kinda get
birdhouse.
spooked, yeah.
So 2 hummingbird feeders would be better if they're far enough apart so the males don't kill each other. Now, hummingbirds are not that hard to attract, and butterflies too. So you could put in some
And my angel trumpet flowers probably are good for hummingbirds too. They like mine.
The angel trumpet on either end would be a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
And you have,
Yeah.
do you have some seeds?
I do.
No,
I don't know if she
but
does
I
or
think
not.
maybe you guys could give me some stuff. That
I
would be
We've got
think
some
so.
seeds, and I've got some nice grasses that I will provide you with for the ends
You know,
down
normally
there.
I start them from seeds, those angel trumpets with the big white
Yep,
fragrant
yep.
trumpet. But I didn't start any from seeds this year because I have so many volunteer babies. It's just as easy to dig them up when I start seeing them.
And
so.
you should see the hummingbird. They disappear
Yeah,
right into the
the whole
trumpet.
bird right in
the
there.
whole bird's gone.
And it
And
kind
then-
of
That would be cool.
It's just very
it makes
cool.
like a
very
bush,
cool.
and yeah, that would be a great addition.
But we will provide you with the
Yes.
grasses if you want to come out there. I also have something else in my yard out there that I can't think of right now.
What about hostas? I want some hostas.
Hosta has a blossom that is attractive to hummingbirds. Yes.
But they like the shade. Now, where is this?
Well, she's got. We can get on the shady side of that.
Okay.
Of the tank.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
And she's got shade in the yard too. She got all kinds of trees and stuff that shadows.
I know just the guy to hook you up right
Yeah,
here.
we'll fix you right up there, lady. You come on down.
Awesome.
All right.
We'll fix it. And I'm glad you called in. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Talk
you
to
have a
later,
wonderful
Lisa.
day.
All right, bye.
Mhm,
Bye.
Yeah, I had forgotten about the angel trumpets. How much?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a good choice.
big bushes out in front of my porch.
Columbine.
Oh, the Columbine. Okay.
I have Columbine. Now listen, Columbine goes away. It only is good for a couple of years, then it goes away and then it comes back.
Okay.
So, but they love it. Okay. Ant control. While I was doing my checking, I know that cayenne pepper is a good repellent for just about anything. I know that white vinegar, if you mix it 50-50, is a good repellent for just about anything, any of the insects. But I didn't know that cinnamon, they hate cinnamon with a
Really?
passion. And let me tell you something. I'll get to that when I get to there in a minute. One of the things that blows them up and they explode, little tiny ants crawling around them going boo, 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 boo,
Is
is instant grits.
instant grits?
You spread some instant grits around, they eat it, and they blow up.
Huh. And that's why they ask you to stop throwing rice at weddings
That's right.
because it absorbs water, blows
You
up,
make
kills
sure
the birds.
that you put it back underneath and work it into the ground a little bit so that the birds don't get it. Something else, a chalk line, they will not cross.
I've heard two sides to that story.
Okay?
I've heard that works, and I've heard that it's a myth.
Well, it's not a
So-
myth because I checked it, and calcium carbide or carbonate is actually ground up.
Isn't it a
seashells.
derivative of diatomaceous
Yeah,
earth,
it's the
basically?
same thing,
Okay,
just about.
right.
It's just in a different purification.
Okay.
And if you break it up and put it in your garden, it'll repel them too. So.
Now I know everyone's going all natural, with non-chemical.
trying to
But in
because-
my day, in the 80s and 90s, you put out some chemical that killed the ants.
Well, you put chloridane is what you put out.
And so my mind wants to put something out there that's going to kill the ants.
You're talking about in your day. In my day,
Yeah,
they
it was
showed
even worse,
a
right.
homemaker, a woman baking bread in her kitchen, and she had a thing of chloridane, and she was spraying underneath the sink. Yeah, and that stuff will kill you. Okay, pure lemon juice. Pure lemon juice. Now, also,
Go figure.
the essence, the cinnamon essence oil.
Oil, cinnamon oil.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
I'll tell you what, that stuff, I remember as kids, we used to soak toothpicks in that. And then we'd chew on the cinnamon oil toothpicks. You better be careful. Don't touch your eye with
Yeah,
that stuff.
Yeah, all this stuff, even though it's
Yes.
organic, you don't want to.
Just because it's organic doesn't
Yeah.
mean it's safe to put in your eyes and ears and whatever. You still have to be cautious with these things. Even ground cinnamon, if you've
Well,
ever
that's
seen a
it. That was
baby
the other
get it
thing.
in their hands.
The next
it's-
thing, ground cinnamon
Yes.
and cloves are fantastic for repellent.
I hate cloves too, so I can see why that works.
Borax, you know how that works,
Yep, yep.
right? Okay,
That's right.
garlic and mint. Now, you can't mix all of this stuff together.
No, you have
it
to have a-
does not
no.
work because you get chemical reactions. You negate the effect.
Well,
so
how
you
do you
can't,
know which things to pick and try?
Well, we're going to try a little of this and a little of that. But if
Okay.
you've tried one or two and they failed, I might be having something that you have missed.
Okay.
Garlic and mint insect spray. It has and you can add white vinegar. No, you can't. I'm sorry. You use white vinegar by itself. Let's see. Then you've got this one I love. Coffee grounds.
Really?
Coffee grounds. How many coffee grounds do we throw away?
Every single day we have a basket of coffee grounds.
Coffee grounds are toxic to ants.
No kidding.
Toxic. You put them up under your trailer, and you will never have ants because it kills them. They can't
why
crawl
aren't we
across
doing
it.
that?
Well, we shall be.
Okay.
Oranges and orange peels. You puree them in water, and then you put them in the. If you find the ant nest,
Okay.
you put this puree.
Puree, either way.
All right, into the ant nest, and they will vacate the property. They can't stand citrus.
Now,
anything.
we have found more nests this year than we've seen in a while.
have.
I don't know. Is it because we had such a long winter? What's the deal? And the ticks, there's more ticks already than.
Yeah, I think
that thing you lifted off the mower, you said had a nest underneath it. I just put that on there 3 days ago.
Yeah.
So I don't
We have
know.
got nests on top of nests on top of nests.
That we didn't have before.
But the ground nests, I found a major ground nest, and I treated it with something other than this organic stuff because it was far enough away from my well. But you have to be aware of that if
of
you're out
your
in the-
well, of your
like
dogs,
where we are.
your
Yeah.
your pets.
Borax and sugar
Well, the sugar would attract them, and the borax will kill them.
knocks them out.
Borax
But
is a
the coffee,
long-standing
isn't the
cure.
coffee
What
just
is tickling
fantastic?
me up here?
We can use the coffee.
Yeah,
All of
I
our
know.
coffee.
Now,
if you
I
have
thought,
coffee grounds, put them in your garden, put them everywhere.
yeah, I was
because,
going to say, don't we want to till those into our potting soil or
well,
something?
here's the thing about coffee grounds, though. They're very acidic.
Okay.
So you don't want
Too
all
much.
plants to be acidic.
Right. Okay.
So
But
it's
it would
all
be
right
good
to
for
put under your trailer. It's all right to put
your berries, your raspberries,
yes, blackberries,
and,
blueberries,
okay.
stuff like that. Yeah, it's fine for that, and it would be okay for a perimeter around your garden.
Okay.
That would be fine.
All right.
Dust mites. I was interested in, it said to try mixing either clove, eucalyptus, lavender, peppermint, or rosemary oil into a spray bottle of water and use it to mist the bed lightly. This
I
is what
have
they used
eucalyptus.
to do 50, 100 years ago.
This was to help our dog's gagging reflex, what have you. I have a little bit of eucalyptus oil in a spray bottle that I spray on our pillows at night because it's supposed to help our little dog who sleeps with us. His throat
Certainly
problem.
not.
So it must be good for dust mites in your pillows as well.
You're supposed to spray this on a bed or bedding or anything that you're not going to be using for a while, and there will be no dust
I
mites
like the
when
smell of the
when you get around
eucalyptus
to the,
spray.
To the point of using it. Hot pepper spray, we know how that works,
Yes,
and it really does work.
It does.
Hot pepper spray will knock them out. Apple cider vinegar for fly trap. Now, people that don't believe in this, I got news for you. I have caught bushels of flies by using apple cider vinegar, or fruit flies, I mean. If you get fruit flies in your house, go online and look up a trap, apple cider vinegar, and they will all go to it. You'll be done with them in
I
an
only
hour.
get those when I start bringing in a lot of produce out of the garden, and then I start getting, you'll get some, but I don't have
Never
a problem
did
with
this.
that.
Air. Egg deer repellent. I've never done that.
Egg?
Read that. How that's
This
done.
is a clever way to keep deer, like the one below, out of your garden. Try using this recipe for homemade egg spray. A solution of 20% fresh eggs and 80% water in a blender with a spray bottle to your plants and the leaves of your trees. So what is it, basically rotten egg smell?
I don't know. I have no idea. I've never heard of this.
You may need to clean the tip because the egg mixture can clog the sprayer.
Yeah, I've never heard of this, but
I think that's exactly what it is.
I intend to try it, And
Because
then
egg stinks,
Well, now they told me to get rid of my groundhogs, which we're going to cover in the next show. I've got some more pests of the yard that we're going to be working on, and one in particular is groundhogs. We have groundhog holes everywhere in our yard and in our neighbor's yard.
huge.
And they're huge.
They're like 30 pounds, I'm not kidding.
And I was told to take an egg and drop it down each one of the holes,
There
and
you
when
go.
it rots,
Stink.
they will avoid it
They
because
don't want
they're
that.
very, very particular.
Right.
They only eat the finest clover. That's why they taste so good.
Ooh. So
Yeah,
what does that mean? I didn't.
Bananas in tinfoil. What do you mean? What does
I
that
don't
mean?
know. What do you
Never
mean?
heard
What
of
are you gonna do
bananas
with
in
bananas
tinfoil?
and tinfoil?
Okay.
To
Read it
rid
for
your
me.
garden of aphids, Place chopped up banana peel under the soil line around the stems of your plants. This deters nasty critters, adds some nutrients to the soil. As an additional trick to chase aphids from the underside of leaves, place foil around the base of your plant.
The foil around the base of the plant's a good idea.
The light from the sun will reflect off the foil to the underside of the leaves, so be careful.
And it chases them off, but you got to be careful because you can burn the underside of your leaves. So, but the other
they like
thing
it under
is-
there because it's away from the sun.
The other thing is the bananas. When you chop up bananas and you pour that on your soil or put it on your soil, you're going to get skunks and possums, and you can have some issues.
You can't
there.
have any
Give
food
me a minute.
outside.
Give me a flash minute there. What do you got coming up? You're not ready?
When does it rain money? When there is a change in the weather. What is a king's favorite kind of precipitation?
No, keep going.
A rain. Why did the man use
rain,
ketchup in the rain?
Don't know.
Because it was raining cats and hot dogs.
Oh my God.
How do lightning bolts flirt?
Don't know.
They electrocute each other.
Oh boy, isn't that cute? They electrocute
Yeah,
each
get
other.
that? Hey, can bees fly in the rain?
No, they really can't.
Not without their yellow jackets.
Oh dear.
What does it do before it rains candy?
You people asked for
It
this, remember.
sprinkles. But what do you call a wet bear? A drizzly bear.
A drizzly bear. I could have got that one.
Hey, what is the Mexican weather report? Chilly today and hot tamale.
Oh, yike. Okay. One more.
Where do lightning bolts go on dates? To Cloud9.
Wow. All right.
These are awful. Where on earth?
Well, go to the next page. You people asked for this, so
this is
you're
great.
getting.
Why did the blonde standing outside the Why was the blonde standing outside the department store in the rain?
I don't know.
She was waiting to cash her rain check.
Oh, that one's lovely. Actually, absolutely lovely.
Absolutely terrible.
Now, we're going to cover one more insect pest here, if I can find it, and that is the
What do you got?
dreaded.
The dreaded.
Never mind. We're going to go to this one. Ways not to get mosquito bites. By the way, I go to a couple of websites and do a lot of research on those websites. Now, this is not one of them.
This is nothing to fool around
is a place
with.
that I like.
My sister-in-law got West Nile virus last year, so
I didn't hear that.
I don't think he's talking to you.
Oh.
I think he pushed a button by accident, did he?
All right, go to it.
My
West Nile.
sister-in-law got West Nile virus last year
That's
from a
some serious
mosquito bite.
business.
Yes, it is. Very serious. She's been very sick. She's coming along pretty good, but it has lasting implications for life, and it's really bad stuff, and from mosquito bites. So it's not just a matter of being itchy and inconvenient and they hurt. They can be a serious problem.
Exactly, and same with ticks.
This
We
is
have
John in the control room.
Yes.
family members that are having all kinds of issues.
I'm
That's all
live
right.
on the air right now.
We know what we're doing. We have family members that are having all kinds of issues with from the ticks. What is it?
Lyme disease.
Lyme
My father
disease.
has Lyme disease. My uncle got Lyme disease. My daughter-in-law had Lyme disease.
Yeah,
My
this is-
granddaughter, and they live in the
this will
Northeast.
knock you down.
They have the terrible little tiny deer ticks.
And sometimes you can't recover from it very well.
And if
okay.
you don't know you have it for quite a bit of time, then it's harder to treat.
There are ways to decrease and some of these are quite interesting. If you would take that and read that off for me. I gotta find
Lemongrass,
that other one.
citronella, and lavender are great natural mosquito controls. Okay, yes.
Oh, okay. Yes. What were you saying, John?
Hey, I was curious. I had that picture of some weird plant I wanted you to take a look at.
Okay.
Bring that
If you have a plant that you would like me to look at, you
We
put
like
it right
weird
on up there.
stuff.
What is that?
Oh,
What is
wow.
that?
Oh, my goodness. It's not unfolded completely, but I believe, and it's this time of the year, right? It's right now.
Yeah, I just took it.
Yeah. It's an Indiana wild plant, and it's one of the lily family. I would get it wrong. I will find the answer, but
What is
that's
it
a good one. I
attached
like
to?
it when I'm
Looks like
stumped.
a tree.
Is it attached? What's it attached to?
That
It's
looks
a-
like a tree.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have
there's
no
a-
idea.
I know exactly what. There's a mustard there in the front ground, I know most of that around there is
Is it
mustard.
like some kind of crocus or something?
No, it's a lily, and I know the name of the thing, but
Well, I'm glad you know what it is because I thought it was from outer space.
It looks like it's from
well,
outer
actually,
space.
it
Look
still
at that
could
thing.
be. Yeah, it's very possible. Very possible.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
yeah, and if any viewer out there, right off the top of your head,
Yes.
knows what it is, please call
There's
us.
a
We've got
ton of you guys out there that are better at plant identifying than I am.
Yeah,
let
what's
me
this?
tell
Oh
you.
wow! Oh yeah! Look at this.
That was in my yard.
Oh
That's
my
beautiful.
gosh!
Isn't that
yeah,
gorgeous?
that's just absolutely beautiful.
That is
How long
gorgeous.
do you think it was total?
16 inches.
Yeah, it looks
okay,
like
well.
it's bigger because he did the job with the
Oh
camera.
yeah, he zoomed up real
that's
quick.
How about this one?
a beautiful
What do we
garden.
got here?
That's true. What is that around him? Just moss?
Yeah, that's just
Okay.
moss. How big is that toad?
Huge.
Wow. Oh, big like bullfrog.
He was like 4 foot long.
Oh my God, that's some frog legs right there.
Yeah, frog legs.
Thanks, Mike.
Let's gig 'em.
That's some frog
Yeah,
legs
if you know
right
what
there.
that flower is off the top of your head, we've got about 6 minutes left on the show. Call us. Tell us what the name of it is.
Least off some of those things, and I want to tell you, I may have to do it the next show about
Okay.
carpenter bees.
Oh,
they're here
yes.
now, and they're attacking.
Oh, our neighbor's having a fit. You know what Dorothy's squirting in their holes? WD-40.
That really works, but let me tell you something else. Let me get off on that for
Okay.
right now, because mosquitoes will be all summer. Carpenter bees are really right now.
Right
we
now,
need to
okay.
get 'em.
Get
Okay,
'em.
the carpenter bees, you need to wait until they go to bed at night. Use Flex Seal.
He loves this Flex Seal,
That
right?
Flex Seal stuff for the patching holes and stuff. Just give it 1 squirt of Flex Seal or fluid film. Ever heard of fluid film?
It's like a WD-40. It's a
kind of
lubricant.
like, but it's
yeah.
more sticky.
Penetrating.
Yeah, you need something sticky that, and they just drop out of there, and that's
Well, what
it.
about
They're done
that
for.
swell up insulation stuff? You know, you could.
That's fine too,
It might
but you
swell
got to
up
trim
out
it
the
off.
hole.
Yeah,
You'll
you
have
got
to trim
it
it,
off.
but-
So almond oil, they hate almond oil, and if you spray some almond
wonder
oil
why.
in there, they don't like that. But listen, they're going to come out of there and not be very happy. So
Yes.
you want to do this at night. A vacuum cleaner is very effective. Let me tell you.
And you know, it is for fleas and ticks as well.
Yeah.
In your house, if you have dogs that come and go and even though they have the stuff on them, they could drop, fleas and
Yeah.
ticks. Vacuuming every single day is a major control.
Muriatic acid.
Oh, well,
Muriatic
you don't
acid.
want to mess around with muriatic acid, though.
No. The
Is that what you
boric.
said? Oh, boric acid.
Boric
that's,
acid.
That's like borax, the
Yeah,
powder.
the same stuff.
Right, okay.
But you can use it in liquid form.
Okay.
But wear some eye protection.
Absolutely.
And wear some gloves.
Yes,
and you
please.
can also use the borax.
Borax, right? Okay.
And you can apply that with a turkey baster. You just suck up a little bit, poof, poof, push it in there.
Right.
But again, wear a mask. Don't get that stuff in your face. Noise. I thought maybe you could take your woman's Bible study.
They're
Move
gonna
them over
kill
by
you
it,
for that.
and zoom. All my stuff is gone. Just a thought.
Is that what you think
just
we
an
are? Just a
idea.
bunch of noise?
No, not at all. Cover the holes. You can use a badminton racket, and let me tell you what, that badminton racket is disaster for them.
I like the one that's electrocuted, that Dad had for the moths. Bzz, bzz, bzz.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, sometimes it just stuns them, and they just drop down. Vinyl siding, of course, that gets rid of.
That would help.
Yeah. Citrus spray.
There you go again with
Anything
the- yeah.
citrus does it.
That's right, citrus
Cementitious
oil.
earth. Again, you need the turkey baster. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
And you know what I use is a glove. I just use a fabric glove, and you dip your finger in there, and you just kind of shake it around. There you go.
Here's an idiot. Instead of using softwood to build your house, try building it with maple and oak. Yeah, do you know how much that
let's
would
start
cost?
over. Okay.
You know how much it would cost to build your house out of maple and oak? I've built 3 or 4 houses. I know.
Yeah,
All right.
just start over if you got those bees.
Pyrethrins, they do pretty good.
Yeah, but those,
okay.
well, Dad used some of that in the kitchen one time, those pyrethrins. He said it about took his breath away
It'll
before
take
he
your
could
breath
get out
away.
the door.
That is some serious stuff.
Whoa.
Don't treat that, even though it's made out of chrysanthemum blossoms, don't treat it
Well,
like
he said
it's
he thought
nothing.
he would die before he could get to the door and get a breath
it's
of
some
air.
bad stuff.
Gosh.
Garlic, you use pure form garlic, spray that up in there.
That
they
just
don't
smells like
it,
you ate
and
Italian.
and they leave,
Yeah.
okay? But that doesn't solve the whole problem. And citronella
precautions
candles.
there, yeah.
Okay, so we covered that one. We'll have to do the mosquitoes
Yeah.
on the next.
The mosquitoes will be around
Yeah,
all
the
summer, I'm
mosquitoes.
sure.
And
so.
listen, you guys drop us a note. meet us down at the farmers market. I'm going to try to be there Saturday from 7 till noon.
We'll have some
Be
grandkids with
glad
us
to visit
if
with
we
you.
can get them all rousted.
Yeah, and be glad to visit with you down there. And I'm going to try to help her out during the
Had a
next,
really nice
few months.
gentleman who saw us down at Gleaners giving out the food over there they do at Cross Point Biker Church. He says, "Are you related to that girl on TV?" I said, "Yes, I am."
Yeah, I'm related to her. Listen, you got to come
Real
to the
nice.
farmers market. It's tomorrow, Saturday, right?
Saturday, yes.
Yeah, we got it.
Let's do it. Farmers market.
I want
that
to see
time
you
of
down
year.
there. And if you see me, wave. If you see her, you just go up and say, it's the Mrs. Garden Doctor. Thank you very much for watching. We do appreciate all of your calls, and we do love you. See you next time around.
The Garden Doctor.